Have you guys watched Sealed with a Kill, the episode that recently came out on 2020 about the Nashville couple that was unalived? If you haven't watched it and you want to, keep scrolling, but we're going to talk about it. So Holly Williams was dating a dude named Bill Lanway. They were a prominent going out on the nightlife scene couple in Nashville. Holly was beautiful. Bill, not so much. Rest in peace. Sorry, dude. She was beautiful. A lot of people knew him. He had a dark past, but appeared to be bubbly and the life of the party to everyone. They had some serious DV in their relationship, to the point that she suspected that he unalived her dog, who was like her child to her. She even put up cameras inside and outside of her apartment because she was so worried about him coming back and trying to get her. Well, they end up reconciling for whatever reason. They leave her apartment one night in March of 2020, and they leave together. It's late at night, like 11:30, and you can hear on the camera that they are both screaming shortly after walking away from the apartment, and you can hear pew-pews, and they were found both unalived in her vehicle, like 3 miles away from her apartment, and the car had been run down an embankment and was still running when someone found them the next morning. Plot twist, this is the part I need to ask you guys how you feel about it. So Holly was a high-end escort. Very few people knew. She tried to keep it separate. She did tell the men that she dated, but to most people in her life, she was a licensed esthetician. This story gets super wild because she had a client from Texas who came into town in Austin. He was a prominent car dealership. His name was Erik Maund. Him and his family owned a bunch of dealerships. It was started by his grandfather, and he comes in town because his son is going to college there, and he makes an appointment with her. Well, unbeknownst to Holly, her crazy boyfriend Bill logs into one of the apps that she uses to track her clients, finds out who he was, sends him a message, and is trying to extort him for an exorbitant amount of money. Well, he doesn't want his wife to find out. It starts to play along until he decides he's not going to do this anymore, because he calls his house in the middle of the night, and he realizes his wife could have answered the phone. So at that point, he calls in the guy that he had just recently hired to do security at some of his car dealerships. This dude that he hires used to be the bodyguard for Charlie Sheen, but when Charlie Sheen was going through his spiraling and firing a lot of his longtime staff, he fired him. So this dude relocates his family to Texas, starts working at this auto dealership. Old Mr. Maund, old boy, comes to him and says, "Hey, I got this text message." He says, "We need to go to the police." Mr. Maund says, "Nobody's going to the police because I don't want anybody to find me out." And then all of a sudden, what do you know? They concoct a plan to unalive these people. So ultimately, Holly and Bill were unalived because Holly was a high-end escort who Bill knew what she did for a living, but he decided to be greedy and extort this man for more money. Holly had no idea that any of this had happened. So at the time of Holly's passing, she has not a clue why this is happening to her. And they all go down together. The end. That's it. This is probably one of the worst crime stories I've ever told. But it's the first story I've told in front of my sign, so I just wanted to get it out of the way. Okay, that's all. Bye.